Okay, there we go. I think. Yes. Okay. YouTube. YouTube is working again. We're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. We're logging back into the game. Saribot has announced its presence. And I'm wiggling my way back into the game. Alright. That was odd. Anyway, let's start this cutscene over again, shall we? Oh no, we're probably gonna get an ad because anyway. I am pleased to blah, blah. Let's get back to where we left off. Or oh no, I wonder if well, okay. Now that we're all comfortable, pray tell us of your experiences on Alo Alo. There was danger and death around every corner, though that rather grim aspect was mitigated somewhat by the incredible beauty. It was pretty there. We managed to reach the shrine you described. As I stepped into the quiet grove, all my fears were washed away. But that tranquility was shattered when the statue attacked us. If Shizune hadn't been there to smash it to into submission, I wouldn't be standing before you now. The speaker attacked you? I've never heard of such a thing. Hi! How are you? I'm doing good. We just finished up all this, or we're just finishing up the story stuff for the variant dungeons. And then everything ever crashed. So, but we're back up. I think my internet had a hiccup or something, but we're back. We're gonna finish up these quests. And then, oh yeah, there is something I need to do tonight for Strem. Oh, ad! Okay. Well, this gives us a few minutes to do inventory and make sure that we have food. And I'm gonna eat another chocolate because I can. But yeah. Anyway. We've still got like a minute and a half. I'm gonna put up the BRB screen. And get some stretchies in, and then we'll be back in like a minute. I'll see you guys. Assuming this wants to work, what is going on with like everything? Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just leave things as is, because like I think something bugged out with my computer when I was starting stream, and I've been too afraid to actually like restart it, even though I think that's what I need to do to fix it. But in the meantime, it's like every single one of my programs that I try to open lags on, which is concerning. But I'll just have to deal with that later. I'm sure it will be fine. I like how I say this as if I couldn't have just manually switched screens instead of relying on my Stream Deck, but details. Too late now. It's fine. Alright, and we're back from ads. Hi, everybody. Alright, let's continue with this then. Perhaps that's something to do with the sacred jewel that the statue holds. It seems there are mysteries whose answers even I do not know. It was a journey full of twists, turns, and fish besides. I'm glad I was compelled to embark upon it with Shizune, but gladder still to be home. Ah, but I trust you understand this was but the first of many, yes? A single hunt will not suffice to keep Alo Alo's many predators in check. Do not forget its waters are teeming with fish rare and remarkable, all of which would make fine gifts for your near Nidana. So please, you must promise me that this expedition will not be your last. Yes, of course, but I wouldn't dare brave Alo Alo alone. Shizune, I hate to impose upon you further, but I would be most grateful to have your resolute company again, for Kalika and Nidana both. Sure. Oh, thank you. Thank you. With luck, your appetite for adventure will be sated. I know my own will be 1,000 times over. I only hope other treasure hunters haven't caught wind of the island's many curiosities. Those ruffians we faced and the wooden beasts they set upon us were complications I'd rather not contend with again. People in Alo Alo? How odd, to say nothing of this wooden beast. To command such constructs requires an intimate knowledge of Arcanima. Perhaps these thieves you encountered were a step above common riffraff. Perhaps they lurked in shadow as I spoke carelessly of Alo Alo's secrets. The stolen ship from before. I'll report this to the Radiant Host, just in case Kalika's hunch is correct. Thank you, Pasasun. Whoever they are, we must see them in chains before they defile my home again. Oh, if only my wings were healed, I would give them a buffeting they would not soon forget. With those tiny itty-bitty little baby wings? Now, enough talk of adventure. The shrine's waters yielded a fish I've never seen before, and I'd like to show it to the other fishmongers. They might know something of its nature. Thank you, Shizune, for everything, especially for keeping Matsuya safe. For my part, I must write down your tale before it fades from my memory. Who knows, my records may prove useful when next you visit Alo Alo Island. I take it you'll be returning to Old Charlian soon. When you do, please give Shalomore my regards. Will do. Anyone who is dear to Master Matsuya is dear to me. I would bow my head to Mistress Nidana. Ah, Nidana seems to have won Kalika's respect by sight unseen, while still he looks down at his beak at me. How vexing. But I suppose that's neither here nor there. If you're on your way to Old Charlian, please be sure to give my thanks to Shalomore. Alright, to Old Charlian. Alright. Why do I keep doing this? This isn't where the desk is. At least not the one I want. Here we go. Scholar's Harbor. She returns! I trust this means Pasasun and Matsuya's troubles have been resolved to their satisfaction. Yep. The South Isle, or Sea Isles? Ah, would that I could have been there to walk amidst such verdant beauty. I dare say I'm green with envy. Boo! Your Arcasodra friend sounds like he made for fine company, too. To brave mysterious wilds in search of fish for your beloved. The stakes turned out to be far higher than I realized. In any event, while any obligation to Montia has arguably been met, I encourage you to aid him in his quest for new and exciting fish. Who knows what dazzling specimens are yet waiting to be discovered in the waters of Alo Alo Island. Oh, and if you can spare a moment for Osman, he will doubtless be eager to hear all about your experiences as well. Cheers to an odd job well done. Alright, let's get these done. Shizune, how fare your adventures? You, wouldn't happen to have any you'd like to share, would you? As a matter of fact, let me tell you about the Sildine Subterrane. The Sildine Subterrane. I am passing familiar with its history. And Mistress Momodi's client had you exploring this network of tunnels and aqueducts? Mm-hmm. And then some. Fascinating. By your description, this mysterious gate's floral motif sounds very much like a gerbera, or daisy, as some prefer to call it. Shalomore is our resident botanical expert, so I can only tell you what she's told me. That gerberas are a common sight in Ulda, having adapted to thrive in Thanaland's arid climate. I've also heard that the royal house of Thorn had something of a special relationship with these blooms. And was it not during the Thorn dynasty that the Sildine waterways were purged of zombies? Curious. The Thorn's shadow flickers ever present at the edges of your tale. I understand you are not at liberty to tell me everything, but even the abridged account has been absolutely captivating. The sealed gate, the hidden paths which lie beyond, the kind of perilous locales a poor combatant such as myself would read about but never hope or wish to visit. Deep beneath Ulda do mighty guardians dwell, but what have they been placed to protect? It practically bleeds intrigue. Yes, I'm ready to write my adventure epic, and it will be set in the dank passageways of the Sildine Subterrane. But let me think a moment. Anything lurking in moldy aqueducts for an extended length of time would surely deteriorate as rust or decay set in. Putting aside the question of how long they've been down there, is it not reasonable to expect the inhabitants were once far stronger? That's a terrifying thought. Perhaps strong enough to challenge even the indomitable Shizune, eh? With you as my muse, this book will all but write itself. Wait a minute, is that why the new one, I see. The Criterion Dungeons are his fanfiction. But is that also why the one that's coming out this patch is a storybook? Shizune, how fare your adventures? Okay, yep. Mount Rokon. Let me tell you about my trip into there. Mount Rokon? The name rings familiar. It is home to a place known as Shoujo Temple, is it not? It is. So the rumors were true. A few of my fellow gleaners have mentioned it before. Unfortunately, such mentions tend to be paired with a copious helping of complaints. In the past, the guild ship would often assign gleaners to Kugane that we might locate and collect valuable Far Eastern antiques. Yet every attempt to purchase these items ended in failure, for an unknown buyer outbid us at every turn. Baffled by this buyer's seemingly bottomless coin purse, the gleaners conducted an investigation of their own, and eventually discovered their rival's identity, Shoujo Temple's head monk. To my knowledge, Shalomore has not had the displeasure of bidding against the man. Perhaps that is best. Your missive was from the East Aldenard Trading Company, yes? Were you privy to some manner of dealings with the head monk? Not exactly. We kinda let loose a bunch of stuff. To think such a fate could befall the temple. I am passing familiar with the concept of Tsukumogami. Tsukumogami, but I had not realized that the myths surrounding them would bleed into reality. Having been a place of worship for much of its history, the mountain and its surrounding environs were likely rich in ether. And if such is the case, those so-called accursed treasures were not unlike kindling to a burgeoning flame. Shame indeed that the whole mountain had to suffer for one man's avarice. But this tragic tale must be told in writing. I can almost picture it. The lush greenery, the silence of the mountain marred by the unholy sight of demons. Yes, it's all coming together. Now, if memory serves, Tsukumogami manifest themselves with a singular purpose in mind. Yet as their long-awaited goals slowly come to fruition, their power begins to wane. Not ideal for stirring hearts and raising their literary stakes, if I'm to be honest. But what if, like the great auspices, their power grew over the centuries? Why, they would be more fearsome than one could imagine, more terrifying than the horrors you have faced. A conflict that grand would be a most splendid thread for the tale I plan to weave. Sure, go for it. I don't know if I'll ever do Criterion dungeons, but might as well unlock them. And let me tell you about my trip to Alo Alo Island. I am told you paid a visit to the South Sea Isles, yes? Uh-huh. Good, good. The Isles are of great interest to us gleaners. Ancestral home of the Plainsfolk and birthplace of Arcanima. It's also been speculated that some of its inhabitants emigrated from the ancient city of Nim. Alas, the records supporting this are fragmentary and poor condition besides. Needless to say, no two scholars in the studium can agree as to their veracity. With so much history packed into such a remote locale, you can understand why I would hang on to every word of your account. You will share it with me, won't you? Well, there was a giant statue, and it attacked me. Alo Alo, where a forgotten people once made their home, and where scant traces of their legacy remain. In hearing of this speaker at its shrine, I am reminded of a merchant from whom I had procured tomes of Arcanima, and a particular tale he'd had to tell. You know of Malvin's Gate in Limsa Lominsa, yes? Its establishment was proposed by Ikuku Iku, advisor to the admiral and arcanist from the South Sea Isles. Rumor had it that her island was home to a statue of tremendous power, and through her people's efforts to decipher the statue's secrets, the heart of Arcanima was born. It takes no prodigious leap of logic to conclude that Ikuku Iku must have hailed from Alo Alo. And the first settlers, they must have commandeered powerful magics indeed, magics unlike any we know today, which were lost to history when their wielders vanished. Had the ancient arts survived intact and been refined further by successive generations, what impossible wonders might have been wrought upon the island. Imagine the beasts you encountered in your expedition, but with their ferocity multiplied manifold. Ah, 'tis on the flights of fancy that our minds may soar to inconceivable heights. Yeah. Alright, before we continue, I just need to step away for a minute, and then I'll be right back, and we will continue. Hey guys, so apparently I misread what time maintenance was gonna be starting. Oh, because I looked at the end time instead of the start time. Maintenance starts in like 10 minutes. Do you think we can finish these quests in that amount of time? We're about to find out. Let's jump over to Kugane very quickly. Fortunately, I think it's just some cutscenes and some dialogue. And we've got 10 minutes. So, yeah. I thought we had 2 hours. I thought that maintenance started at 2 a.m. PST, which would be midnight my time. But no, it ends at that time. It starts at 9 PST, which is in 10 minutes. All right, let's go. Haha. Surely Hancock won't spend a whole 10 minutes talking, right? Apologies for the sudden summons. You will have heard from Mistress Tsubaki that Lord Uzumibi's men returned safely. Their expedition a rousing success. But it is the implications of their findings that I wish to discuss. Shall we sit? I couldn't possibly allow this perfectly good bench to go to waste. During their survey of the temple, the soldiers recovered a curious journal. Upon closer inspection, they realized it had belonged to Gorai, who had documented nearly half of his life in meticulous detail. Born into an impoverished family, young Gorai was cast aside by his parents. He spent his youth as a beggar, struggling to survive on his own until the monks of Shoujo Temple welcomed him into their brotherhood. It was these formative hardships that fueled his fixation on wealth as an adult. The security and comfort of these valuable objects promised that which he had long been denied. I cannot but help but sympathize, for his story is, in many respects, a mirror to my own. Tis a terrible curse, poverty, one I would not wish upon my worst enemy. In my youth, I eked out a living in the back streets of Ulda, until Chairman Lolorito took me under his wing. Thus did I begin to build my fortune, that I need never again know penury's shame. In like spirit, Gorai amassed a veritable mountain of treasures, among them his most beloved pipe. It was unique, he wrote, in its power to grant its owner both the most blessed of fortunes and the most calamitous of fates. Perhaps, when he first held it in his hands, it was indeed a blessing unlike any he had ever known. Alas, his fate speaks for itself. Might I suggest you part ways with the pipe that may have been his downfall? Ever the sensible one. Gorai and I may have both had a tragic childhood, but I assure you, I have not let mine define me. If needs must, I am more than capable of writing off poor investments. It is not often that I allow myself to speak of personal matters. Though I suppose if I absolutely must confide in another, it may as well be the Warrior of Light. Of the many lessons Chairman Lolorito has taught me over the years, there is one tenet that towers above them all. The value of a gil is what you make of it. If you invest 100 gil, you may come to possess 200, or even 200,000. But if hoarded in perpetuity or squandered on ephemeral pleasures, your coin purse may as well be empty. Too many grow consumed by the pursuit of wealth for the sake of it, forgetting that it is merely a means to an end. Wealth without purpose makes poor men of us all. consider a much humbled pipe. As an end in itself, it was the source of much misfortune. Yet as a story, it may serve a nobler purpose. My humble ambition is to share such treasures with the world, that all might reflect upon their histories. So you want to start a museum? This star has so many stories to tell. Stories of myriad peoples and cultures. If my exhibits inspire others to seek out and learn them, as the ukiyo-e print in the chairman's offices once inspired me, there would be no greater joy. Cultural and financial exchange can thus see us all enriched. Arts and artisans across the star will be driven to create, and their works treated as the cultural treasures they are for generations to come. Sorry, cultural treasures they are for the generations to come. Imagine. If ever the opportunity arises to petition your aid in this grand dream of mine once more, I should be glad of your assistance, or for your assistance. Until then, my friend, I wish you well. I think I like you better without the glasses when you're being sincere. Oh no, he did yap forever. Okay. I don't want to end up getting kicked out of the game mid-cutscene or anything like that, so I think we're gonna wrap up this quest on Sunday. Sunday is official Endwalker wrap-up day. There you are, Mr. Shizune. By your demeanor, I gather that all is well with Master Hancock. Well enough. I am pleased to hear it. I had feared that my most recent report had upset him in some way, but I am relieved to know that was not the case. Allow me to express my gratitude once more on behalf of Lord Uzumibi. We are most glad to count you and Master Hancock among our allies, and your service to our people shall not be soon forgotten. As I previously mentioned, I have prepared a small gift as a thanks for your aid. These confections are famous in Kugane, and beloved by children and adults alike. Thank you! Thus, I must of course express my gratitude to Master Hancock as well, so permit me to take my leave of you. Should we meet again, I pray it be under more auspicious circumstances. Safe journeys, my friend, and may the Kami keep you. Yeah! Okay, maintenance is in like a minute, so I'm gonna wrap up here rather than try and tempt fate. Also, that was neat. I've never done, I just realized I've never done Route 12 of Mount Rokon before on my main, so I've never seen that, I've never done that quest before. So that was cool. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up here. I will be back on Friday for Friday Night Writes, my weekly writing stream, where I am currently continuing to work on my debut novel. Actually, honestly, novels, because I'm working on 2 books at the same time. They're companion books to each other. But yeah, I'm working on my debut. Hopefully it'll be published by the end of the year. I hope. God, I'm so ready to be done with this book and have it published. And then Sunday is Endwalker wrap-up day. We will be doing the Alo Island quest that we didn't get to tonight. We will be doing the Viper job quests, because I still haven't done those yet. We will be doing any Island Sanctuary quests that we have hanging or left over. And at that point, all we should have left is MSQ Part 2. Oh, right, also we're going to be finishing up Margit. I'm going to do the pre-crafts for her, and then we will, on stream, turn those into her and finish Margit's custom delivery quests. Because I believe... Hang on. No, I'm looking in the wrong place. Game, please don't log me out before I am ready. Yeah, we just have one more rank with her. So we'll get that done on Sunday, finish her up. And then just absolutely make sure that on Tuesday, we are ready to start Dawn Trail. So yeah, and then from there on out, it'll be Dawn Trail. So Sunday streams, 4:30 Central. Weeknight streams, Tuesday, Wednesday, 7:30 Central. Friday Night Rights, 8 o'clock Central. If you haven't already, please hit that follow button. Thank you everybody so much for joining me, by the way. Ash, Zev, if you guys are still there, and even if you're not, thank you so much for helping me out for tonight. I really appreciate you guys. And yeah, ooh, we should find somebody to raid. I guess we can't raid anybody who's playing Final Fantasy XIV right now because, yeah. But let's see who's streaming right now. But yeah, if you haven't already, please hit that follow button. Subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Twitch. I keep forgetting to set up the poll for people to vote on what I'm gonna do if I'm at 100 subs at the end of February. But yeah, that is a thing I do. I let the community vote on what they're gonna make me do if we hit our monthly sub goal. Yeah. Anyway. Man, like nothing wants to work for me right now. Am I having the same problem that other people were having before? Let me see if this works better. Okay. Who do we want to raid of the people I follow? You know what? Time for something completely different. Himitsugi is currently streaming Monster Prom 4. So let's go raid her. And until I see you guys again, I hope you have a good night. Stay safe, stay healthy, and take care. Bye-bye! Wait, she's not. Oh. Haha, just kidding. It doesn't look like she's allowing for raids right now. Unless, did I spell it wrong? Stop that game. Okay, yeah, she's not. She doesn't have raids open. JK, in that case, let's just raid Floof. She's doing art. She's a good bean. Anyway, assuming that There we go. Okay. You can see again. That's so wild. Anyway, go say hi to Floof, guys. You have a good night, and I'll see you all later. Bye!